Hi! Within this lecture, we're going to see how to de-authenticate people from a certain network. And by de-authenticating, I mean deconnecting them, okay? So making them lose their connection. So when we connect to a network, we get authenticated to that router. And we're going to de-authenticate them in order to make them lose their connection to that router. Okay, we're going to see how hackers actually disconnect you from a certain router, from a certain network, and we're going to see it in real-time examples. So there's a way, there is a tool to do that, of course, and it's called AirPlay NG. So it's fairly easy to do. All you have to do is just run this AirPlay NG with the authentication number of packets and by specifying the interface and the, of course, BSSID of the router. So we can just do that in order to make someone disconnect from their network. And this is a very powerful attack, and of course there are some certain protections against this attack on the router, but most of the time this works, and the hacker actually basically can disconnect a client from a network very easily. So if you do without giving any specifications of a target, the tool will try to disconnect every client on a router, but then it will lose its effect and it wouldn't be more efficient as focusing on one client. So if you try this with one device only, there is a very good chance that you will succeed. And if you try this with the router without specifying any clients, any devices, then it might succeed as well, but there is much less chance to do that. So let's not waste more time in here and go back to our Kali machine in order to test this attack. So I'm connected to my Kali machine with my USB Wi-Fi card and bridge adapter chosen as usual. So let me go here and give my password and then go to my terminal. So I'm going to need to run Airodump NG one more time in here because I need to get the device MAC addresses, right? So let me run Airodump NG, and this time we don't have to write this to a file, right? Because we don't need to analyze it later on. I'm just going to take the results in real time and have my deauthentication attack on this router. So of course, if you want, you can write again, but I'm not going to do that because it may slow my process down. So let me delete this line here and hit enter in order to start this command. So this is the same command that we have run in the previous lecture. So now we are getting the station and BSSID columns in here. So we know the MAC addresses of connected devices. So if I say file, open terminal from here, then I will get another terminal. So let me just make this one smaller and put it down. So I'm going to just take the values from above, so it's easier to see it that way. Because I'm going to run AirPlay NG, I will have to specify the station MAC address along with the BSSID of router as well. So let me start by typing AirPlay NG. So this is the name of that tool. And Airodump, AirPlay, and a tool called AirCrack NG are all connected, as you can understand right now. And we're going to see what is AirCrack in the following lectures. So I'm going to go after my MacBook in here, and of course you cannot know which MAC address belongs to which devices at your house. I suggest you try to find a way to know the MAC address, or you can just go after one and see which one is disconnected. So I'm going to say AirPlay NG and Deauth, as we have seen in documentation, and then I'm going to specify the number of packets that I want to send. So if you write something like 1000 or 10,000 in here, you're going to send a lot of packets and you're going to disconnect the user, and they will certainly know that they are disconnected. So sometimes you want to send some smaller packets like 5 or 10 in order to disconnect a user from the network and in order not let them know that they are disconnected. So there are reasons to do that, and we're going to see them in the following lectures. So later on, I'm going to say -A to specify the MAC address, okay? So I'm going to copy this one and paste it in here. And then I'm going to say -C in order to copy and paste the client MAC address. And I believe by mistake, I'm copying this twice, okay? So let me paste it in here, and client C stands for client, so you have to copy the device's MAC address, and A stands for access point, so you have to copy here the router MAC address, and it's written in the BSSID column. So I'm going to copy this and paste in here. So you have to be careful with this one. A is for access point, C is for client, okay? So after doing that, of course, we have to specify our interface name. And once I hit enter, as you can see, it started to send deauthentication packets. So right now, as you can see, I'm getting these frames in here. So this station belongs to my MacBook, and I'm getting these frames in here. And actually at this point, even though we can see the station in the list, my MacBook got disconnected from the network. And even though it seems like it's connected, it cannot go to the internet. So we will see that we're getting on and off from this authenticated list in the Airodump NG. Even though we are on the list, it won't work for me because I'm getting constant packets from Deauth, constant packets from AirPlay in here. Of course, at this point, I cannot prove to you that I'm disconnected and I cannot connect to the internet, but let me stop here actually. And within the next lecture, I'm going to deauthenticate my MacBook, my host machine, in order to show you that this is actually working. And of course, you have to try this on your own with your own devices so that you can confirm this and see that this is working in real life examples as well. And as I said before, there is no way to understand which MAC address belongs to which device at this point, but you can go for them anyway. You can choose one of them and try to disconnect them anyway and try it on your own house. So let's stop here and do that in the following lecture.